Hello and welcome to another iExplores. I'm your host Ian. Remember to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. It tells you when I put a new video on. Okay, so let's get on with today's video. Right, so this week we're going to do a bit more in-depth on the West Marsh, okay? And I'm currently stood near the Corporation Bridge, which was built in 1872, which joined the East Marsh with the West Marsh. Okay, as you can see, currently there's a big restoration project going. It started in February and I believe it's going on till December, around about that time. Okay, so let's move on a bit further. Come off the Corporation Bridge now. And in this area here, this used to be the tram stop. This is the trams that went all the way to Immingham. Okay, so I've now moved into Asda's car park now, and I say all this area was houses and shops all the way around here. And behind me, this big box here, it's an electrical box and it's still here. This supplied the power to the trams, which went from Grimsby to Immingham, which I've done a few videos on in the past. But that's what this big block is. So this has been here quite a long time. Yeah, that's what it did. And obviously the lines, power came out of this and over the road there. And the trams is roughly in the middle. Look at some of these things here, look. I don't know what's in that. It's an Harper Phillips. So yeah, that's what that was. Electric that supplied the trams. Okay, so I was just mentioning the trams there. So a section of the line from Corporation Bridge to Cleveland Bridge closed in 1956, and the remainder to Immingham closed in 1961. Okay, so that's what happened then. So let's move on and have a look at some more features down here. Some are still standing actually, and the next one is anyway, so I'm going to show you that. The West Marsh Club was built in 1902. And it's been there quite a long time. It's still there, the building is. They was going to demolish it in 1974, but 900 members of said club put a protest in, and it got held off, and it was still in operation not long ago actually, and I think now it's turned into flats, as you can see there. We actually put an ice skate on it, but this is an original to down here, so it's over 100 years now. Well over. We're now walking to where the Rex was. Okay, it was a cinema, picture house. Its first name was called the Paragon, and it was just in this area where all these flats are now, just in here. Obviously been knocked down. I remember in the 70s going in there skateboarding, but yeah, as you can see, completely gone, and it's replaced with flats. Okay, so I'm now walking up to the boulevard now. Now, in this little area here, this used to be some toilets in there. It's obviously gone now. Now in this area, you see there's the boulevard over there, there used to be tennis courts. Now during this time, which is Wimbledon's just started, this been the first week, this would have been full, including myself, playing tennis on here. But obviously you can see it's all gone there and all changed over the time. And also in there used to be a cricket ground. I did a video last year, and my drone sadly hit a tree in Sydney Park, so I couldn't film it. There was parch marks. I'll go over there and show you shortly of where the actual cricket ground was in the pavilion. Yeah, all this area was surrounded by railways. It was everywhere. You just can't imagine a railway track running down Boulevard Avenue in these days. But they did have sidings as you're going down it off to the onto the left-hand side, which I will show you shortly. So let's go into the boulevard and I'll show you a bit more about, tell you a bit more about that cricket ground. So I've now come to where the cricket ground was in this area. Okay, so where I'm stood, and this is from memory from looking at various pictures, where I am now, this was a pavilion just here. As you can see, some of the grass is starting to dry out. You can see some of the parch marks. So the stand was here, and it actually was curved right the way around there and come all the way around here again. A bit like an oval, like, you know, the oval, yeah, that's the famous cricket ground, isn't it? Yeah. I'm not a cricket fan, so I don't know. I only know from there in it on the telly, but yeah, it was an oval shape. Right, so the West Marsh is affectionately known by locals as Little Russia. Now, if you ever come up Boulevard Avenue, okay, you'll see, if you look carefully, it does have a bend in it. That's because Pie White Road was over to the left in that direction there. So what they had to do was move it a bit so it was in line with it. But here, you can still actually see the curve, because obviously the train tracks and the bridges and that was round here as well, where the trains came across. So that's what they did. But yeah, you have a look next time you go up there, you'll see it. It does actually curve. That's because Pye-White Road was off to the left slightly. Okay, so let's move on. Still in the boulevard. As you can see, this used to be an old Victorian bridge across to the middle there, but you can't, there's some writing up there and I cannot make that out. I'm going to put the camera across it. Maybe it may come out on camera, I don't know. But this is still here. Obviously it's been altered over time, but it's still there. Okay, so I mentioned the tennis courts before, and I'm now actually right near where there was. I'm at the back of them. And this, yeah, was the path. It's still a bit here. You can still see some of it, some of the surfaces down there. Well, this was the way into it, down here. And you can see a massive area. So some of it is still in the ground. It's just obviously the path of where you played it on, the surface down there. You can still see it. But yeah, this is where it was. There's the Duke of York Gardens in this area. It obviously would have looked a lot better than what it does now back then. It's the Duke of, or was, or still is, the Duke of York Gardens, which opened on the 13th of September in 1894. And it gets its name as the fact that the Duke was going to be married that year. That's how that became the Duke of York Gardens, because he was going to get married. Okay, so a bit of history now of the West Marsh going way back. The West Marsh was originally part of an area of salt marsh granted to the borough in 1341 by Edward II. Around 1514, the freemen, in their role as a corporation, was divided the West Marsh into plots and leased out for grazing, as in farms, you know, cows, etc. It should be noted that prior to the enclosures of 1827 to 40, the open field system of farming was named. Now you probably know these. Okay, you know, like Aycroft Street. So the first one is called Aycroft, the second one Littlefield, as in Littlefield Lane, and the other one is called Cow Close. So that's the three areas of the West Marsh which was divided up in that time. Okay, let's carry on. Now, down Armstrong Street. Sorry about the noise of the bike. This is Armstrong Street. Now, probably a lot of you have got memories of this one. Again, all round here, industries, railways, coal yards, timber yards. Obviously before, if I move around this way, that in there is Hartwells, your Fords and all the different cars. I don't know if sell them, I don't think. On the edge of the day on the news that they're no longer making Ford Fiestas, apparently. Now this is another street. This is Watkins Street. You can see it's the name of it's under that edge there. It's Watkins Street South. Now you can get back out onto Corporation Road straight in front of me there. But this was all houses, because there's a lovely comment to get from you all telling me these things. But these was all houses down here. All in this area, as you can see. Well, they knock them down and nothing really there, apart from that side. Obviously that's the Hartwells, but I don't know, weird. I'm going to go through this way because I know this continued on. So Watkins Street basically came across this road and carried on straight through there where you're looking now, and out on to Adam Smith Street. So let's just go down here anyway. Because like I say, you never know what you can find when you're going around. But as you can see, it is all industries around here like it was back then. But with houses, if you see what I mean, like terraced houses in the same area. So it would have been easier if you lived in one of them to get to work very quickly. As you can see, all this is blocked off and everything around here. Right, let's move on a bit. So coming over the road, you can see there, Watkins Street North, and this is Adam Smith Street. Now there's a bit of the train track left in the road, which I have seen many a time on this video, on videos I've done, which is straight up there where we're facing. All right, so let's carry on and get back out onto Armstrong Street, on Ainscough Street. Okay, and where that building, big building is there, I'm going to go up to it. This would have been the back of the Rex or the Paragon. It was the Paragon Picture Theatre first, and obviously the Rex later on. Closed, I don't know when it closed. It was a skateboard park in the early 70s, because I remember going in there. You can see now, if I put the camera up a bit, it's a load of block of flats. Now, through that fence there, where the wall is, there was an archway built to commemorate the Queen Victoria's, I think, Diamond Jubilee in 1897. Obviously it's just a brick wall. It obviously came this way, and if I turn around, obviously headed that way. Through here there would have been houses on either side of the road. As you can see, long gone. I can't see anything left in the ground, no curbstones, cobbles, not that I can see down here. So basically completely destroyed. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so the street we're riding down now, this is Carlton Street. Okay, so where this big building is here, and all through there, where the camera's pointing, this is where Dixon's paper mill was. And later, if you remember it, there was a Stones brewery on here as well. Yeah, Stones. Bitter it was, wasn't it? But this was in this area where this is. And if I tilt the camera up, there used to be a bridge going across the road, and it said Peter Dixon's on it. I think it must have been a conveyor belt of some kind, but it did go across this road and out over there onto the other side of the road where the camera's pointing now. So these old garages here, look. I don't remember seeing them when I used to play around here, but they look old. But behind this corrugated iron, this corrugated whatever it is, yeah, that would have been the back of Dolly Lollies. Let's go around the front. Here we are, around the front of Dolly Lollies. As you can see down there, this is where you would have stood. I think I mentioned it many a times on a video. I'm going to put my camera through there shortly, and let's see what's remains behind there in a bit. Stortford Street, and where that building is there, where the camera's looking, that used to be Little Coat Social Club. And to where Dolly Lollies was, and as I was saying, I am now going to put the camera up there. As you can see, looks like it's overgrown from what I can tell. But this is where it was. Again left, just put this there. Nothing's happened as per usual. So we're now on Harlow Street, and this is now called Little Coats Primary Academy. I guess it was called Little Coats School back in the days. You can see there's the original part of it, but it's still here. I know somebody had asked me on the comments about this place, so there you go. Go in what we used to call over the tip back in the day. It's where the trams ran, going from Corporation Bridge to Immingham. And there was a terminus down here as well, which I have covered on quite a few videos. There's a bridge. Top of Gilby Road there, carrying on that way. It's where the tram terminus was in front of us somewhere, just on that bend there. Okay. Right, so you've just been around some of the streets down there, which I've just shown you. I'm going to go back and do a bit more. You didn't see me much on the camera, it's a lot of talking. And now on my other camera, so as you can see down here, looks like they've stopped working on it. I'm going to go over to the other side, because the last time I was here, there was doing things. I don't know what they've done, but as you can see, here we go. Seem to have left quite a lot of the track, which is great. As you can see, still there, brilliant. I've not done much to it, but that's great. So anyway, I'm not going to do much down here because I've done this a lot of times on video, so let's move on. I know I have done a video on this, but that's where the dog track was, 1932 to 1939 it was in there. Yeah, I have done a video on this. It's on, if you go on my channel you will find it. There we go. Little bike action. It's quite fast actually. There we go. Imagine them trams coming up here, amazing. So we're going to have a look at some of the streets. There we go. That's Cleveland Street just there. Howlow Street we've just been down, where the school was, which is off to the left and right of me, where the camera is. And I keep going down here. I've just been down Oxner Road, that's where the Little Coat Social Club was. This is Clevering Street, which runs across. This is Stortford. So you ran straight across here. I'm trying to put all these streets in for you because you've probably got a lot of memories. This one's Hargrave Street coming up to now. A lot of streets around this area, a lot of houses. The next one is Dummo Street. Oops, Dummo Street, which is to the left and right of the camera. Just one more to go. There you can see Corporation Road there, Gilby Road, Pye White Road, etc. We're on Gilby Road at the minute. That's Stamford Street now. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to point something out. Okay. So where these are here, flats are here. This used to be Betty's junk shop. Now this one, obviously close to my heart, this used to be where my granddad's fish and chip shop was, and it still is according to that up there. It looks a lot smaller though, a lot smaller than what it did, but then again I wasn't that old. I'd be about 5 or 7 years old when I was there. And across the road, there, that was Crosses. I remember going in there, you can see where the door was, look, where they've covered it up. Also on Gilby Road, you can see they've made that into flats. And this isn't, this is still what it is. And across the road there, with that like, what colour, sandy colour building, that was a Bookies. There was a Bookies in there, I remember that. Yeah, and obviously across the road, that's always been a wine shop or an off licence. It's still got its sign up there in blue. If the camera's pointing it out, but there's a lot of things around here. So, okay, let's move a bit further on. This area here, where I am now, in there, there used to be a laundry in there. I think it was an industrial laundry. I'm not entirely sure, but I remember it being in here. It was definitely set back off the road, and I remember seeing it. Okay, so the span of Dixon's paper mill almost lasted 100 years, from 1871 and closed in the early 1970s. Operated by 2 paper mills, one in Outbridge near Sheffield, and obviously the one on the West Marsh in Grimsby, and it had a total of 8 machines inside it. I guess what they was producing the paper. So on Acroft Avenue, you see in front of me there, this is St Hugh's. Okay, so I'm going to turn around now. That used to be the Long Ship pub in there, obviously now turned into flats. Okay, so now this is Acroft Street, the street that was first here. The one when the railway was running down Boulevard Avenue was Macaulay Street. I'll just hit down this one just to see if any of you got any memories of this street. I've seen it on many maps. I think this was here during when Macaulay Street was here actually, because I have seen it on a map. This street is Newby Road. Going down, I'm trying to do every street I can for you. But this one's Newby Road. I'm going to carry on to go where I said I was going to go. But I keep finding these streets, so there'll be a lot of memories for you lot from around this area on the West Marsh. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so I've now come to the top of Macaulay Street. Now, if you was here in 1848, you would see a train coming from over there where my finger's pointing. I hope I can see it on the camera. Coming out of there. And in this area here, okay, so in this area here where these bollards are, there was a signal box there and an actual level crossing. Like I've said on the video I did about the Lost Railways, actually came out of this area there. So this is right at the top of Macaulay Street. That's what you would have seen. That in front there is Boulevard Avenue. Where the camera's pointing, there was sidings just there. So your train came down there, and there were sidings as well all the way down here. And it was totally dismantled in 1931, which I have mentioned in a few videos. So let's carry on and go to some more streets. Okay, this street I'm on now is Lancaster Avenue. So this street here is Lawson Avenue, it says, and that's round this corner here. Right, let's go a little bit further. I'm still actually on Macaulay Street. Like I said, I'm going to try and show you guys as much of streets as I can round here. Obviously this is all new, right in front of us there. But still Macaulay Street ran right down there in front of us, which I've just been down. And I'll go back down to this way. I don't know what this street is called until I get up to it. What is this one? Always difficult to film. This is Wharton Street. Okay. This is Lister Street, what I'm on now. Divide this one down here. This is James Street. Okay, so let's carry on down this one for a little bit. See, James Street carries on straight in front of us there. This one is Lord Street. Many of things used to be. I'm going to show you something up here as well, which I remember. Which is coming up on the right hand side. This is Joseph Street down there. Okay. Coming to the top of Lord Street now. In here, I'm just going to stop in there where the camera's pointed. Used to be a bike shop. Obviously now it's housing. Okay, so where the camera's facing right now, there used to be a garage there, Finer Garage, and also just over there used to be crosses, which I've already done on this video already. Yeah, there used to be a garage in there. Okay, so this street here is called Mill Ave because there was a mill round here, an oil mill, and it was actually over the other side of the road there. In front of me there is New Haven Terrace down there. Okay, so we're now on Avon Avenue now. Reason being, because the Avon is down there. Okay, so this street coming up on this side is Henry Street. So we're going to carry on up here because this covers most of the streets anyway that run off Avon Avenue. So that one up there was Henry Street. This one, this is Arthur Street. This is fairly quick, you guys, but I think it might look like rain at some point. So this is the other end of a very long street. This is Aycroft. I'll just turn the camera down there. This one's quite a way, right over to that side there. We've just been previously. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Now, remember I told you about the street's been named after people when they first started developing around here, and I mentioned this one. This is Richard Street because I wanted to call the streets after people's names, Christian names, like back there, Joseph Street, Arthur Street. This is Richard Street that was named in the document that I read. So they're all Christian names. Right, so this street I'm on now is Lime Street, okay? Let's go and have a quick look down this one. Lime Street, again, it's off Avon Avenue. Most of them off, I mean that straight up there is Lord Street. So that was one of the main ways through, was Lord Street back in the day. Okay, let's move on a bit. Okay, so I'm going to turn around, go back, and now, this in front of me is Ripon Street. Now from here, it goes over the bridge and went to the old hospital, which I did show you further on this video. which when I turn the bike around is straight through there. I'll line it up, there we go. Very straight through there. Okay, that street down there is Dover Street. Okay, back onto this now, and it's changed into Avon Terrace, as you can see in front of me there. Just stop here to show you that. So it's changed now into that, from Avon Avenue into the terrace, which carries on straight down there. Obviously starting a bit back there where you can see it turning round. There's the sign which I had to look for, and it goes across there. And this leads in to Earl Street. It's the Earl Street Bridge coming up. I'm going to leave it on, keep the camera running so you can see. The Earl Street Bridge there coming into view now. He went over this to the hospital, like I've probably said on many a videos. So down there, we're going to go across this road. And this leads into Anderson Street. Okay, I was saying about these houses here, built in 1921, they're 102 years old. I mean, what part of the area was built, I don't know, but that's a long time. 102 years these have been here. Imagine. Armstrong Street, Place East. I think that one was called West back there, but if some of you remember maybe living around this area, I don't know. Obviously stopped there because there were still industries and railway tracks going on beyond that edge, as you just saw there. I was coming past Armstrong Street still again over there, and back onto the industrial area, which I've just been on and mentioned. All these streets, there's probably some streets that I've probably missed off because either they're not there or they've been totally demolished and you don't know where they were without looking at an old map. So if I do come across any, I will put them on this video. I will come back and try and locate them. But I mean, I think I've covered most of this area for you. I'm going to have to go down Adam Street because I always look at that railway thing. It's really good. It's a bit of history. So I'm going to go up to there and we'll have a quick look. Right, so I'm now on Adam Smith Street, and yes, as promised, there they are. The only two bits of railway this side of the A180 basically. There's some more that I have filmed right near the town hall. There's some tracks there as well, and there's a lot on the docks as well, which I have filmed, and I still haven't put that video up yet, but I will do soon. The bridge, which goes down there and comes out on York Street, which you're going to have a walk down now. Okay, I'm like I was saying, I'm trying I'm trying to cover most of the streets around here, but we're walking down this one. The one further up that way is the one that we used to go to the hospital. Now, I don't know if this one is an original walkway through, but it seems like it is because of the street it comes out on, which is in front of us there. And especially the house on the end there. Very big place. And round here, let's see what you're not allowed to do. There you go. Through here. Now these stones here. Now some of these, I think I've been here before. As you can see, some have got iron in them, and see some up there as well. Now that one has definitely been worked. Now whether or not it's from a casting or from a stonemason, really hard to tell. You see that one down there has got a W and two I's. I don't know if you can see that. And this one over here, so I'm going to go in here a minute. Now this one here, Okay, so as I was saying, this one here, look, that to me looks like it's been a gravestone. ED 70, that looks like a 71. Not entirely sure, but could that be? It's definitely been carved. And I'll show you that one I saw from back there. There it is, that one we've just been looking at. So you can see that is as well. So this must have been part of that York Gardens. And that's only my opinion. I'm not sure, I could be totally wrong about that. But it's just a pile of stones maybe, or just left there. But yeah, it could have been part of the Duke of York Gardens. Okay, so let's move on. Side of the boulevard, where York Street is, over there, is this place, a Pavilion Cafe. I've never been in. Not sure if it's open. Let's go have a look. Not going to go in because I'm not hungry. As you can see through there, look at this, really nice. Wow, it's a nice place to come on a bit better day than this. Yeah, looks really good. Just started looking at Cafe Pavilion there. I was talking to the people that run it, really friendly people, telling me about it, to go in for a coffee, and I will do at one time, and when I do I shall film that. Now I've been round here already, there's an anchor down there as I showed you previously on the video, but I'm going to move up this way, and this is York Street in front of us there, and here's an house, an old house through there. Now the funny thing about this is that street here used to be called Freshney Street, and I've renamed it Freshney Drive. Okay, so through there, where the camera's pointing now, used to be the church. So you've got Freshney Street there and Jackson Street, and the church is in the middle where I'm pointing, roughly there. It's now just a load of grass area. But I've mentioned that on a previous video, so okay, let's carry on. Right, so I've come where I was showing you that writing on them stones in the Pavilion Cafe. Look at this, it's got a spike in it, an iron spike. And it's obviously been worked as well. And there's quite a few of these around here in this little area that was definitely either belonged to a structure. The one down there, so we'll go around this side, one there, another one here, and if I go up I'm on a mound. Okay, so look at that one down there. This might have been a feature, a garden feature, possibly. If you look, there's a lot of stones around here on the ground, and here, look at this. This curves. See that? Around there, all the way down there. So this must have been a garden feature of some kind. Looking at that, and there's stones through there as well. Let's go back round this way, but this, as I was saying, must have been part of the Duke of York Gardens back then. Obviously this is probably all that's left of what it was. Okay, let's move on. 1913 saw the development of Cow Close, with streets that had Christian names, i.e. Richard Street, and there's a Joseph Street and an Arthur Street in this area. Okay, there's probably a few more, but I can't name them all. But yeah, that must have been the area of Cow Close. Okay, so I'm now stood on Earl Street, and a new general hospital was built near the River Freshney. It's opened by the Countess of Yarborough on the 22nd of May 1877 at a cost of £4,000. That was a lot of money in them days. Imagine what it'll be right now. So the hospital was there where these houses were, and it went round the corner there, which is now says Waterside Drive, and where them houses are where the camera's looking, that's where the nursing home was. Okay, and that road ran straight through there, which is the South Parade School. Okay, and 3 years later the South Parade School was built, so I met that 1880. Okay, and also down there was a Wesleyan chapel where all this grass is, obviously, and that opened in 1881. So that was in there. Now I looked at the map and it looks like there's two, because there's a big building next to it. So I come back out, and I'm going to show you across the road. There's only one little bit of the hospital left, and it's in the ground. It's an entrance which is in front of me down there, so let's go and have a look at that. Right, so I've come across the road now, and like I was saying, it's an entrance. You can see it starts there and goes in that direction. You just see some of the old cobblestones down there. And if I come across this side, you can see that it's there. Now this was a back entrance from what I can remember. Okay, so I guess some of the goods and ambulances went through there, because where this is, it was a long corridor. And obviously it went round the corner. Beautiful looking place it was back in the day. So let's go around that corner there and I'll show you the bridge where you actually walked across to actually go to the hospital. Okay, so I've now come down this, well, passage or walkway if you like. And through there, that goes round to a bridge that goes across the river. And if you came down there and came out of here and looked where the camera's looking, that is where the hospital was I've just been talking about. And obviously across the road, where all these houses are in there, that's where the nursing home was. Okay, so we're going to walk up here and I'm going to show you the actual bridge. It's not obviously the original, but it is in the same place. So let's walk up here to where you would have come down. And the bridge is there. Okay, so the General Hospital lasted from 1877 to 1983, after the new Diana Prince of Wales Hospital was built along Scaffer Road, which now everybody goes to. And back here, where these houses are, was the back of the nursing home, and over the top of these houses was once the General Hospital. So yeah, it lasted quite a long time. Well over 100 years. Okay, so let's move on. I stood in the grounds of the Armstrong Street School, which is not a lot left over. It's a community centre now, and obviously they play sports in there. Okay, the reason why we are down here is because the first council houses to be occupied on Armstrong Street was on the 3rd of January 1921. Okay, so I'm assuming that these was the council houses they're referring to, because they look like they are. I might be wrong, don't know, but they definitely look like they could be. They're well kept, and some have still got slate roofs on them as well. Okay, so I'm going to have a quick look round here. Now this gate was open. I know it's a community centre and that, so should be all right. As far as I know, that is what's left of the original, the white wall there. The school was in here where all this is. And this must have been the playground. As you can see, the original fence and that surrounding it is still there. And here's a gate in front of where the camera is. You see the green bin in the distance. That is a gate. Obviously the one at the side where I've just walked through. But yeah, this is now a community centre. And once was a school. The West Marsh is completely surrounded by railways, which effectively form borders around the East and West Marsh. Until 1908, the branch line ran to Alexandra Docks, ran along what is now Boulevard Avenue. Okay, this effectively dissected the area. This was replaced by the line from Marsh Junction later on. Prior to opening of the tramways, there was a steam passenger service from Pye Halt near the current Moody Lane to Immingham. So there you go, so that's where the trains all ran around this area. So if I go this side, Boulevard Avenue is in the distance here. This is obviously the river. And this area here, and I know from looking at maps, these had sidings on them. Okay, so we've come to the end of another video. I hope you enjoyed this one. And I'd like to thank all my new subscribers to the channel. I much appreciate it, and for all you viewing my content, I much appreciate that as well. And anyway, on that note, I will see you all next time on the next video. Bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye now.